Hey, are you a small business owner that loves God, family, country, and capitalism? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the War Plan Briefing. My name is Josh. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most little-known, hugestest secrets that can help your business crush it. Guess what it is? Are you ready? Drum roll. It's your wife. Now, don't click off this video. I'm going to say things that might blow your mind or change your life for the rest of your life, but it is true that your spouse can be the jet fuel or the jet lag when it comes to you, your family business, and everything you're trying to do, not just to survive, but hopefully build a legacy and have ripple effects across your community with your employees and everything else. You know, it's funny. I got married at 20 years old. I was a pizza delivery driver when I married my wife. We were high school sweethearts, right? And in high school, we broke up probably 3 or 4 times. We were very dramatic back then. Were you very dramatic? Are you still dramatic? That's beside the point. At 20 years old, I asked her father if I could have his permission to marry her. He said yes. I then asked Bill if he even loved his daughter because
why the heck did you say yes, she could marry a pizza delivery guy that lived in a trailer park?
But I digress. He said yes. We got married and we lived in a trailer park while I delivered pizzas. You know, one of my favorite quotes from my mom is, "Don't despise small beginnings." And I think that's a scripture, right? But I heard it from my mom growing up. You know, I don't know where you started or if you're on your second marriage or what your story is, but I can tell you this. Your spouse is your one true ride or die. You know, and if we lost everything and had to go back to the trailer tomorrow, we would do it maybe a little grumpy for a minute, but we would do it with joy in our heart because we have each other. And our relationship isn't dependent on the success of the business or not. You know, what we built together. And it wasn't easy, and it was not easy. In fact, it was very, very difficult. But those are the things that bonded us together. You know, who do you really have if you strip away everything to just be there for you? If you had nothing to offer back, who's got your back, right? All the people that you think are business colleagues and these people that think you're cool because of your success or accomplishments, these people will get real quiet real fast if you lose your platform or if you lose your financial success. I saw a story with Arsenio Hall, and he was on The Apprentice with Donald Trump. And this is, you know, Arsenio Hall was super famous back in the day. He had the biggest show on cable. All the celebrities wanted to be friends with him so they could go on his show, right? Well, years later, he didn't have a show for a long time. He's calling all of his contacts, his celebrity contacts, to raise money for charity as a contest as part of The Apprentice, and he didn't even raise $1. No one would answer his calls. You know what he said that was really profound? He said, "Back when I had a show, everybody answered my call. But now no one answers my call because there's nothing in it for them." Your spouse doesn't need something in it for them, right? They're your ride or die. The other thing is they can be the jet fuel or the jet lag, depending on where you're at in your relationship and the bond and the team mentality you have with your spouse. It can literally catapult you 10 levels up when you're in momentum with your spouse, or it can feel like you're going to work with, you know, a stone tied around your leg that you're dragging with you everywhere. And these are complex things, right? But when you figure out how to turn the jet lag into the jet fuel through systems and communication and getting clear and kind of having some hard conversations, it's unbelievable what it will actually do for your company. The way you show up as a leader, the whole vibe and energy you put off with your team and your employees and recruiting and selling and everything that you do completely changes when you have your ride or die clapping and cheering for you, pushing you on from the background. Because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. There was a church leader that said there's no amount of success in business can compensate for failure in the home. And I think that's true. But man, you can have a lot of success in business because of how you run things at home, and it starts with your spouse. Another benefit of getting your spouse on board and really looking at it this way is that they are your reality checker, right? My wife has a unique ability to humble me very fast when I think I'm really cool and smart. And it's actually a gift in disguise. Ashley and I, my wife, had the opportunity to sit down and interview Russell and Colette Brunson. He's the founder of ClickFunnels, and it's a $1 billion company, and he grew it really, really fast. And he's had a lot of different businesses, and he's been married quite a long time. And I remember him telling a story about the first time he made $1 million in one day. He made $1 million in one day. And when he came home, his wife was like, "Yeah, that's nice, but we just take out the garbage. The kids have been screaming all day." And there's something beautiful about this, okay? Here's the deception. If your business starts working, people think you're really cool. You start getting edified by your professional colleagues over here. And they say, "You're so smart. You're so great. Look how great you are. Ooh, woo, look at you. Woo-hoo." And you become this superhero in this part of your life. And it can feel deflating to come back to reality over here. But the beautiful thing is that I want you to understand is that the deflating part over here is a gift to you because most of this is fictitious bullcrap to begin with, okay? And so if you made $1 million in a day and you came home and took out the garbage, I can't think of a better way to counteract that, right? It reminds me of like the old like Roman Caesars and stuff. They'd say, you're just a man as they carry him through town, right? Because all the people are praising him. Business can have that effect on you. Not on everybody, but as it really starts to work, you can get too big for your britches. And it's huge to have a spouse and have enough trust in your relationship where they can call you out on your BS and bring you back to reality. Another benefit of being on the same page with your spouse, if you want to crush it in business, is for strategic sacrificial things. So how do you strategically sacrifice time, money, effort, energy, resources for the greater vision that you have for your family? Well, it's not that hard when you have a unified vision and you guys are on the same page. There's periods of time where you're in growth mode, growth and go mode, and there's other periods of time where you are in suffer and pain and suffering and, stretching your neck muscles out so you can have a bigger capacity to hold up the bigger crown that you're trying to achieve. There's all kinds of a variety of seasons, right? But how cool is it to agree and come into agreement and say, we are willing to suffer for a little while because the outcome we're pursuing is worth it to us and our family. It's a powerful thing. When you don't have this connection, you're just over here kind of suffering by yourself and trying to hold it all together and make it look like it's okay over here. What if you just totally were unified and totally transparent with each other and you said, look, I don't know how this is going to turn out and it might go really bad. I need to know that you're with me and we're just not going to stop until we succeed. Are you with me? High five, go team, 1, 2, 3, team Latimer, right? Because that happens. It happens in small business all the time. And there's beautiful things that happen. It's almost trauma bonding is the phrase that's coming to mind right now. Trauma bonding is like a bad thing, but like if you survive a plane crash with someone, you can become best friends with that person because of how intense the emotional experience was as you got to know a person. It creates this inseparable bond. That's what happens when you start a family business if you're doing it together. If it's not just front stage, backstage, you doing your thing, she's doing her thing. If there's constant communication as you go, it'll bring you closer together. And actually the hard parts of it are what bring you closer together than any of the other parts of it, believe it or not. It's not just about the work that you do. It's about the work that the work does on you while you do it. Did that make sense? There's two types of work. There's the work you do on it and the work it does on you. And that is super true in your marriage as well. Last but not least, there's a lot of power in a praying spouse. Now, years ago, I was trying to understand the concept of prayer because it sounded kind of silly to me. If God already knows every single thing, and he already knows what I'm thinking and what I'm going to say, why does he want me to say it? What is the value and purpose of me saying things he already knows what I'm going to say? The Bible says he already knows what we need before we ask him. So I'm like, why do we have to pray? Why is it important? Well, I don't have the exact answer to that, but I will tell you this. There is massive, noticeable, tangible, real world, visible effects of a praying woman, specifically a praying wife. And when you have a wife like this, it is rocket fuel for your business, for your brain, for everything. You can visibly see it, emotionally feel it. Things change, things shift. And it's your job to make sure that you're facilitating an environment where you have clear communication, you're casting clear vision, you're thinking big, you're being resilient, but you're also being open and vulnerable enough to bring her in on the hard parts to get her to a place where she knows what to pray for. And she's praying for you because I can tell you something, my friend, it moves mountains for you. It moves mountains for you. And at the end of the day, look, you can achieve everything you could ever imagine in business and still wind up with nothing. In fact, none of us are taking anything with us. In closing, I saw a story about Alexander the Great. And when he was on his deathbed, he told all of his doctors how he wanted his funeral procession to go. And check this out. He had all of his doctors follow him in his casket as they paraded him down the street. He wanted his arm to be stuck out of the coffin, dangling down, right? So people could know that even the best scientists and the best doctors couldn't stop him from dying. He wanted his arm out so they could remember that you're born with nothing and you leave with nothing. And then they also threw all of his money behind the coffin, right? Just to make the point that you can't escape death. 10 out of 10 people die. Did you know that? It's an interesting stat. You should look it up. It's true. And a wise man thinks of death often. Look, I'm not being morbid. I'm just saying the thing that you have with your wife while you build your company, that thing that you develop with her is infinitely more valuable than the company that you build in the end, because it's all going to burn one day anyway. Listen, if this is helpful for you and is valuable for you, I want to invite you to like and subscribe and comment and talk to me. I will read the comments, and I want to get some momentum with this YouTube channel. We're having fun doing it for you. Let me know what you want to hear about, where you're getting stuck, and what types of tips you're looking for. I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot. I built and sold 4 companies of my own, coached over 1,000 small business owners, and I'm here to serve you and help you and give you my very, very best. Until next time, see you in the next video.